Hello, friends, and welcome back into March to the Pod, presented by Eternal Roofing. It's episode number 29. We're talking about the men's basketball team. They've set up a showdown for the Conference USA regular season title this weekend. We've got prediction potatoes for that. That's right. Baseball, it was streaking, not in a good way. Are we really concerned about the Cats? We're going to find out. I'm your host, Corey Hogue, the non-FBS insider at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Find me on your favorite social media channel, at Corey Hogue Sports. That's all one word, CORYHOGUE Sports. I'm joined by the creator and manager of Sports of SHSU, all one word again, on Twitter and Instagram. He's the chief operating officer of the Cat Fund and a proud Bearcat alum, Ben Sorrells. Ben, it has been a long week of sports around Sam Houston. Been a lot going on. And I think some good and some bad, right? Like I think right now we're a little bit unsure right now. Some sports we're a little more happy about than others.
Yeah, and there's a lot of sports going on. I mean, going to look at the good side, basketball obviously playing for a conference title tomorrow night, which will probably be tonight when you're listening to this. On Thursday, women's golf just won a title out in Florida, so that was good. Softball had a little bit of good, got kind of beat around by Baylor last night. And then baseball's had some rough goings over the past couple days and stuff. A little bit of good, a little bit of bad, but there's certainly a lot going on.
And that's how we do the miscellaneous segment. See, right there, just boom.
Right.
Pot over, right? No, you want more? Okay, we'll give you more.
We'll give you more.
We'll give you more. But before we give you any more, we want to talk about our friends and sponsor over at Eternal Roofing. I believe they're still proud sponsors of our show. I know we're still proud to have them aboard. Taylor Andrus and his crew over at Eternal Roofing are outstanding. They don't just do roofing. They have general contracting services, and they go throughout the Hill Country, Houston area, and the entire state of Texas. They give you free detailed roof inspections, fast professional service, no high-pressure sales pitch, exceptional workmanship warranties, and we are in the month of March. The calendar has turned, Ben. If you're not planning for Christmas, you're probably in the wrong.
Yeah, you're definitely behind, right? You're only 9 months away, definitely behind with those Christmas lights from Eternal Roofing.
Well,
you missed last week, so I'm glad we're back on it this week.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to miss 2 weeks in a row. That would not do them the service they have wanted to be a sponsor of this show, right? Like it's only fair that we mention, get on their calendar now before you forget. It's March, silly.
And get on the calendar for everything else they do.
You're going to need it.
Yeah.
That's right, because storm season's coming. And so if we hope it does not happen, but sometimes bad storms do come. And if you need some roof repair, and we hope that's all it is, give our friends at Eternal Roofing a call. They will help you out. You can find them in Montgomery County office, area code 936-215-8539. Hill Country is area code 830-251-5673. Or you can email Taylor at eternalroofingtx.com. Ben, basketball team. I'm going to say this. We'll talk briefly. Let's go briefly over the Middle Tennessee State win. What I saw was a team that I know they beat them on the road, and Florida International was that one. But it looked like a team just on a mission against Middle Tennessee State last week.
Right, and it's everything that we have been seeing out of this team, especially over the course of the last month on this 5-game winning streak. Was really a dominant effort from start to finish. Another really strong first half effort. I know Sam Houston is outscoring their opponents by, I believe it's 14 points in the first half during this 5-game win streak. So saw more of that. David Barnes lit it up. It feels like it's either Lamar or David will go for 20. And then you have 4 or 5 other guys go for 6 to 10. And that's kind of the winning formula. That's what happened again. I think Barnes went for 25 or 23. It was his season high. Then you had a bunch of other guys chip in. So it was everything we had been seeing. And yeah, it was a really good game for the Cats.
It really was. And now when you look at it, I know, okay, they are tied. We're going to look at the standings because we got a big one coming up this week with La Tech, which we're going to preview in a few minutes. We're going to preview the whole thing. But right now, we're starting with a look around Conference USA. And before we get into anything else, we want to let you know the Cats have nailed down at worst the number 2 seed. Now, question I have for you, Ben. If Sam Houston were to lose, if these two teams were to split their final games and end up tied, who goes in as the number 1 seed? And don't tell me it's not the Cats.
So you're talking about we lose to La Tech, but then we win Saturday and they lose Saturday, that scenario?
Yes.
So that scenario would go to Sam Houston. So the next tiebreaker after head-to-head, so obviously they would be tied at 1 apiece, would be your record against the number 3 team. And so that team would be Western Kentucky. Louisiana Tech went 1-1. We went 2-0. And so even if you did lose on Thursday night, there is a small chance you can still get the 1 seed, but in that scenario, it would go to Sam Houston, thankfully.
You want to win, right? You want to,
Right.
but the thing is this, let's think of it this way. Sam Houston wins on Thursday night. They automatically are that 1 seed, regardless of
Right.
what happens in that final game. I would rather be in that position. I'd also, if something were to happen and we have a bad night, off night, we don't win, I would like to know that if we're able to turn that around and get that win on Saturday and get some help at that point, that we still have a chance. Like
Right.
I would rather be in the position of Sam Houston than the male texters.
Yeah, not the lady texters, the male texters. But and that brings up an interesting question too, is if you win on Thursday night, what do you do on Saturday? Because that's a quick turnaround. 8 o'clock in Louisiana to 2 o'clock back at home. That's what, about 40 hours difference. I mean, if you've got the 1 seed locked up, what do? Do you kind of rest your guys because you've got the 1 seed, or do you want to keep the momentum going into the conference tournament? So that'll be interesting to watch as well if we get there.
Yeah, I'm not okay. That is a great question. So let's dive into that question. I'm not a fan of throwing a game, right? Like I believe if it's on your schedule, you play competitively. At the same time, I'm not a fan of being ridiculous. And if the Cats win in the home of the Nasty Rustin tomorrow night at the Thomas Assembly Center, which sounds very Indiana-y of it. When they come back and meet Jacksonville State, I want to beat Jack State. But what I don't want to do is put guys out that are dealing with those bumps and bruises that maybe would get better if they have that time off before the conference tournament. Right. So if you've got those nagging injuries that are kind of that you just need a little extra rest, then I'm all right with it. You're not talking about a lot of extra rest either, because you're already one of the top 2 seeds. You're going to have some time off heading into that tournament. So I think going in with the expectation of we don't want to be rusty, but we don't want to go into conference tournaments shorthanded. So let's play who is available to play, and then we'll see how the game goes. You get up 15-20, pull some guys out, limit minutes. If you go into it just with the idea, to be honest with you, of we're going to limit minutes for our starters, nobody's going to play over 20, 22, 25, whatever it is, that's fine too, right? I mean, you're still keeping them somewhat fresh in the basketball sense.
Right. And I honestly kind of like that perspective. I mean, throw everybody out there, but say, hey, we're going to cap everybody at 22 instead of 25. And that way you still get the guys out there. They're still in a rhythm. But then you can also include some of the bench depth on there. I mean, I know you go about 10 deep, but if you can get the 9th, 10th, 11th guys some more time so they're ready to go in the conference tournament, that little bit of extra experience could definitely help. So hopefully we have that problem to deal with when it comes to Saturday.
It would be nice. It would be nice. We're definitely looking far ahead at this point. I'd also like to say that if you do have that opportunity to get 5 or 10 minutes for those guys that haven't really played much, but have been a big part of your practices, in the behind the scenes guy that's guys that really do make these teams run. There's a number of them that never get to reach the floor for more than about 15 seconds. So if you could get those guys out there, it to me, it's only going to help your locker room, because at that point, everyone's happier. Everyone's kind of contributed, win or lose. It's like, all right, we're ready to go. Let's go have fun.
Exactly. And I mean, you're going to need every single guy when it comes to a conference tournament. I mean, for Sam Houston, if you're the 1 seed, it's 3 games in 4 days. If you're the 2 seed, I think it's 3 games in 3 days. And so you're going to have fatigued legs, and some of your starters might not have it one day. And your 5th guy off the bench might be super hot, and that extra experience that he got can really be vital. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what we do there Saturday if we get there.
Okay, so let's now advance a little bit. I know next week we will discuss this a lot more, but I want to go into where it looks like they would be playing in the bracket as of right now as one of the top 2 seeds.
Right. Right now you're the 1 seed technically, because you've still got the tiebreaker over Louisiana Tech. So you would be in the 1 seed when looking at the bracket.
Yes, and the 1 seed, 2 seed. I mean, okay, like we talked about last week, there is an advantage in the fact that the 1 seed is playing a team that is playing on, what March 12th is Tuesday.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So they're playing Tuesday. Your next game's not till Wednesday after Saturday, right? So we know the Cats are playing on March 13th on that Wednesday night. We don't know who they're playing. They're either going to play the winner of the 8-9 seed game, or they're going to get the 7 seed. Looking at the standings of it, the 7 seed would be Jax State in this scenario right now, as it stands. Now, look, as far as who the 7 seed is going to be, let's name out who it could be: Liberty, UTEP, Jax State, New Mexico State.
It's a cluster.
It could also be FIU, right? Like there are so many things to be decided this week, Ben. I don't know that I think you want to avoid UTEP and Liberty if I'm Sam Houston.
Yeah, and I think UTEP and Jax State are the 2 I would like to avoid, just because they're similar. They're extremely athletic, extremely physical, and it really hurt Sam Houston when we played at Jax State the first time. I know you didn't really have a Jaden Ray. He only played a couple minutes and was working his way back, but man, they really dominated us physically and on the boards that game. So I don't want to see them again. I know it might be a little different at home. It might be different now, but they really whooped our butt that first time.
Well, and that will play also into what we were talking about earlier with what Mudge's decisions are going to be to how he goes Saturday.
Right.
Right. Because you don't want to go in there with having lost twice to some team and that team thinking they own you.
Right. And I mean, it is hard to beat a team 3 times, but if you beat them twice, I mean, that's a lot of confidence.
I'm not saying it's hard to beat. That's such a misnomer. Here's my view on that. Oh, Ben, look what you've done. All right.
Squirrel.
So if you beat a team twice, there's one of 2 things that's going to be true. Either you are just that much better than the other team, so the third time's not going to be any closer, or you just didn't play well for some reason, or you don't match up well, or whatever it is. Either way, I don't think it's a good scenario for the team that's lost twice going into to play a team for a third time.
Yeah, you would definitely rather be the team that's won twice. I just know a team like Jacksonville State can really pose a matchup problem, and we'll see. Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
It may not even get there, because next week we'll be back to talk about all that's going on with the actual conference tournament. We'll let these the flames who be flaming. Man, that was a story today, wasn't it?
I didn't really read it, but I saw your tweet where it said flames be flaming.
You should go back and read that tweet, man. Woo, so I'm glad we're not a Liberty podcast. I wouldn't be a Liberty podcast. Multiple reasons why. Anyway, we'll allow those people down there, Liberty, UTEP, Jax State, New Mexico State, FIU, and heck, throw Middle Tennessee in. Let them figure out what they're going to do as well. And meanwhile, hopefully the Cats go up and take care of La Tech and get that regular season title. Now, here's a question for you, Ben. Let's say Sam Houston wins 2 more games, at least this season. They don't get the automatic bid. They don't win the conference tournament. Whether they win the conference regular season title or not really doesn't even matter anymore. Would their resume, though, with 20 wins, be enough to get them in that large bid?
Yeah, it really wouldn't. The non-conference schedule and your lack of wins there really hurt, and you had opportunities to kind of pick up some quality wins, but I think you're 130, 140 in the net. I mean, even if you were to win these last two, win the first 2 games of the conference tournament, I think that would put you at 22 wins. I still don't think you'd be there. You'd probably be around 100 in the net, so you're probably 30, 40 spots away from where you need to be. So, yeah, it's really win the conference tournament or bust at this point.
No pressure.
Yeah, no, and
No
I think
pressure.
that's why the 1 seed is such a big deal is the rest factor. I mean, we saw this year how big of a factor it was to play on the road and how road teams were just not very good. When you're at a neutral site, I think the factor becomes rest. It's not where you're playing, but it's rest. And as the 1 seed, you get the most rest out of any team out there. So I think that's why it's really important to try to lock down that 1 seed.
And they're in Huntsville, Alabama, huh?
Yep. Our little sister or little brother, Huntsville, Alabama.
Do they make that the home away from home?
I mean, you might.
They should.
Yeah. Feel right at home. I mean, it's Huntsville, the Rocket City, right?
That's right.
Just like,
Hey, how about you get some guys to go take down that statue along 45
yeah, that statue. That's a small one, right?
and take it with you to Alabama and put it up in Huntsville so we'll feel welcome.
Yeah, we'll trade him a rocket ship for a week. I mean, they're both white, tall, probably about the same size.
Well, that's what we'll march our general to Huntsville, Alabama. That's what we'll do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's some way to do it. They got it here somehow. So, I mean, there's some way to get it to the other Huntsville, I'm sure.
Oh, goodness. So, looking around the rest of this Conference USA, do you have any idea how this could all end up shaking out here?
I really don't. I think the top 3 seeds are set, and then the 4 through 9 is an absolute cluster.
Do you think Josh Jonas has any idea?
I forget who. It might have been Cat fans who tagged him, or somebody tagged him, and I know he was crunching the numbers to try to figure things out. But I think you'll have a better idea after Thursday when teams all have 1 game left or everybody's played a game. But man, there's going to be a lot of tiebreaker scenarios. That's for sure.
Good luck, Josh. You are very good at your job, and I hope you do well this weekend.
Yeah, good luck.
We wish you Godspeed this weekend from March to the Pod.
Right. Hey, we took care of our business here at Sam. We're doing our job.
We are not leaving you with tough scenarios. That's right. So you need to find good officials for us for next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under the table, right?
Hey, so anyone else listening, and Josh, if you're unaware, we are a podcast on the Republic of Football Network and an extension of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Please like and subscribe to the podcast and follow us on the various social media platforms, including Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at March to the Pod. It's all one word, the word March, the number 2, the Pod. And we want to give a special hello to those watching on the Dave Campbell's YouTube page. Who can see that the hat I'm wearing today is the Montgomery Bacon Biscuits. Ben, the Montgomery Biscuits normally are the team. They've got butter on the tongue of the biscuit. However, this was a special theme night, and instead of butter, it's bacon in between the halves of the biscuit. It is one of my favorite hats.
The first thing I did when I hopped on was ask you about the hat. I'd seen the regular biscuit hat, but man, this one is a sight to behold. That's for sure.
Let me tell you, I'm going to be sad when I put on this hat one day and it's too grimy to actually wear anymore.
That's how you got to keep wearing it at that point. I mean, it's a labor of love.
Yeah.
You've had some strong hat game the past couple of weeks between the flying squirrels and the bacon biscuits.
Have I even shown you the one where I've got just the squirrel head?
I don't think that one's been broken out. We might have to save that
Oh,
one for next week.
yeah, that just the head. I don't even wear that out to practice. Like
Hey,
that's how good that one is.
hey, come for the podcast, stay for Corey's hat.
That's right. That's right. Hey, speaking of flying squirrels, I should tell you that we're looking okay, right? Like we're a young team. We're still searching for some leadership out there amongst our rec players that are 7th and 8th grade. I'm looking for some people to step forward on the team, kind of take control. I think we have a couple good pitchers. We have 4 or 5 really solid players. It's just a matter of where are we going to put them to be most successful each game is really what it comes down to right now. We have our best pitcher is also our best catcher, right? Like that's
Mm.
it's kind of how that goes. That's the challenge of rec ball is who can I put at catcher when he needs to be pitcher? And that guy looks at me, he goes, I can play anywhere, coach. And I was like, I know you can, Zach. Like,
I wish you could play in both spots.
I wish you could do it all, man.
Have y'all had any games yet?
We have not. First game is a couple of weeks away still. See, right now my calendar goes by tournaments that I'm traveling to on the weekends. I'm currently halfway through that 4 week straight schedule. This week is Lone Star Conference in Frisco. Next week I'll find out where I'm going to be about 10:30 on Sunday night during the selection shows. Thank you so much, NCAA, for that BS, right? We couldn't put it off to Monday afternoon or something. We're going to do it rush home on Sunday night
That's
and
late.
then jump right on the computer for selection shows. It's so much fun. Anyway, then the next week is the regional tournament, the first 3 rounds for D2. The next weekend after that is when the baseball starts.
Yeah, and it never ends.
It doesn't. And also, Gabe had his first practice yesterday for the Wichita Falls Spudders, which has a big tradition in Wichita Falls. If you ever Google Wichita Falls Spudders, it was a former like professional semi-pro type team in Wichita Falls. They would play at Sputter Park. We're talking long ago before I was even born. But I do know about the history and tradition of them. So that's kind of cool. And it's a coach pitch team. And then I got roped into helping coach that one too. So another background check. I'm crossing my fingers and hope they don't come get me.
Yeah, I think you'll be okay.
Man, I ain't
I
gonna
never
lie.
heard of what is it, sputter?
Oh, it's what they named that team.
I didn't know if I was missing something there.
No, nah. Look, it's Wichita Falls, man. Plus, also every time I hear sirens, I immediately think they're coming for me. It's just
They might be.
like, with my past, it's possible. Is all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
I
I hope it's
might
not.
have a couple of warrants somewhere I don't know about or something.
Stay in Wichita Falls.
Ooh, I don't know. That could be worse for me than getting out of Wichita Falls. Anyway, for those of you who like our content, we would like for you to go to Dave Campbell's to texasfootball.com/subscribe. You can subscribe for as little as $12 a month, all the way up to $50 a year, right? $50 a year, Ben, gets you 3 magazines, all of our content through Dave Campbell's Texan Live, which the UIL boys basketball tournament is this weekend. It's going to be on Texan Live as well. You have access to all of that. It's incredible value. And I cannot urge you enough to jump on board while it's still $50 a year, because I don't know how long that value is going to be able to continue.
Good old inflation, right? Rears its ugly head again.
Oh, why do you do it to me?
Thought
Why?
you were gonna stay out of trouble today. I'm sorry.
I thought so too. I heard somebody the other day say that one of the problems we're facing is an increase in wages. They called it wageflation. And
Mhm.
I said, just because you're paying your workers more doesn't mean you have to raise your prices so that you don't take a little bit of a hit in the pocket. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
I just don't. That's the kind of stuff, Ben, that I'm like, at some point, how much is too much, right? Like
Exactly.
I don't begrudge anyone that makes a ton of money. Congratulations. I hope that you're happy with it. I hope it serves you well. I also think that if I was in that situation, I'm not going to say no to money, but I'm also not going to be quite so quick to go, what? I made, $1,000 less last year. We got to bump up all the prices.
Agreed.
It is. It is. And you know what? It's human nature. And it always will be that way. We've battled it from the beginning, Ben. It's not like this is anything new for us.
Nope.
We're a society of
That's
greed.
humans.
That's right.
Let's get greedy and go get a win tomorrow night.
Ooh,
We'll spin it a little bit.
now you're getting spicy.
Of
Speaking of spicy, you ought to see the things that they can do at Eternal Roofing, Ben. I'm telling you, go to eternalroofingtx.com, click on their gallery, look at those images. They do an outstanding job. They do top quality work. They use CertainTeed shingles known for their superior weather resistance, exceptional longevity, and they look outstanding. You definitely want them to be a part of that and do your shingles. Also, though, inside, we told you earlier, they do general contracting work. Well, that includes a little bit of everything. They can do painting the interior, exterior. They can install gutters, garage doors, floors, any woodworking you might need. They can repair sheetrock if you've got just, a wild kid who does something crazy. And they do it all fast, professionally, and with no high pressure sales pitch, Ben. It is a tremendous deal. And the other thing we like to mention about Taylor Andrus and the team there is Taylor is an alum of Sam Houston, and we like to make sure that we have cats supporting other cats. So
Yep.
give them a call. Montgomery office is area code 936-215-8539. The Hill Country is area code 830-251-5673. Or you can email them, taylor@eternalroofingtx.com. Tell them you heard about it on March to the pod, and they might, give you like a magnet or something,
or a sticker
or a
or
sticker.
a pin, something real exclusive.
This lady yesterday, man, she handed me this I voted sticker, right? This itty bitty tiny I voted sticker. And she says, put this on. It might let other people know to go vote. And I thought, I don't want people around here to know I voted.
Get in, get out, go home.
Try to be as conspicuous as possible, right? Like I don't want anyone to see me.
Just give it back to her and say you're saving trees or something.
Yeah. I took it and put it in the car. It'll sit there for a while.
Yeah.
We got more basketball to talk about because La Tech is coming up. And if you are not a member of Cat Fund, well, you should be. Because not only can you get entered for great prizes, and we'll tell you about that coming up here in a little bit, but you get content that only comes on the Cat Fans exclusive page for members of Cat Fund. And Ben wrote a tremendous preview piece that, if I'm not mistaken, is on in that forum of the Cat Fund right now.
Yeah, and it went up, I believe it was Monday afternoon. I put it up. Yeah. Breaks down the matchup, players to watch, personnel for Louisiana Tech, what they do offensively, defensively, keys to the game, coaches' press conferences. It's got a lot in there. It was a lot of fun to work on, and excited for this matchup.
It'll get you ready for that game. And hopefully, if you're listening to this, it's before the game starts on Thursday night. That's our plan anyway. We're going to start with notable players for La Tech. Isaiah Crawford, he leads them in scoring, 16.4 points per game. Daniel Bacho, he's a force, 14.5 points, 9.9 boards, 2.4 blocks. There's a few other players, Tahik Chavez, Sean Newman, Devin Ree. Yeah, the thing is, and what you break down so expertly in your column is why Daniel Bacho is that guy that Sam Houston fans want to see in foul trouble early on.
Yeah, and I mean, and I'm going to give some credit to Isaiah Crawford too, who's probably going to be Player of the Year, but um, he has his off nights. You can match up with him one-on-one, but man, when it comes to Bacho, he is so hard to slow down on both ends of the floor. A guy averaging, I think, what 15 and 10, and then 2.5 blocks, and so you might shut him down offensively, but he's still. I mean, there's games where he's got 6 or 7 blocks, and so he's a guy that can do it at a high level on both ends of the floor, and a lot of their offense goes through him. A lot of high ball screens with him that they can run a lot of action out of. And if you overcommit to him on that role, they've got guards that can really kick it out to shooters and cutters. So he's a guy that really controls what they do offensively, kind of schematically with that high ball screen. He can score it from the mid range and down low, and then he can also get 4, 5, 6 blocks a game and really alter the game inside as well. So he's definitely the guy to watch.
One thing, see, shooting can have a night off, right? But rebounding and block shots don't take nights off.
Yeah.
They just
and I was in the first time the teams played, I think he was 4 of 12 and he had 8 points and 5 turnovers on offense. And that's not very good. But defensively, he had 10 rebounds and he had 5 blocks. So you took him out offensively, but he still made a huge impact on the defensive end of the floor. And so it's hard to take him out on both ends. If you can take him out on one end of the floor, it's almost a victory at that point.
So he had 8 points, 10 boards, 2 fouls, 5 turnovers, 4 blocks.
4 blocks, yeah.
So a lot of turnovers as well. They turned him over more than anyone else on the team was turned over. And they also held Isaiah. They took Isaiah Crawford out last time they played. He was 12 points, 11 boards. Talik Chavez, though, he went off a little. You know what? Here's the thing you got to do, Ben. You got to pick your poison, right? Like, Bacho's one of their offensive powers. So is Crawford. You can't shut everybody down, but if you can hold those two to 20 points, you've got to feel good about your chance of winning.
And that's what you did last time. And the reason why I didn't really pick Isaiah Crawford as the guy to key in on is because I think we're okay from a matchup perspective there. Damon Nicholas Jr. is one of the best defenders and rebounders I've really seen at this level for a 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" guy. And so he matches up really well with Crawford. And I know that was the matchup in the first game. So Crawford's going to get his. He's extremely talented, probably going to be Player of the Year. But man, it's extremely hard to match up with the guy who's almost 7 foot and that can do it at a high level on both ends of the floor like Bacho.
It is. They play a man-to-man defense, and I'm going to guess that they play a man-to-man kind of a sag with Bacho in the middle. They're not going to bring him out of the paint very often, and that could work to the Bearcats' advantage because they have some bigs that can kind of play mid-range to outside.
Yeah, Keenan Scroggins got a little bit of a mid-range. Cam Hoofner, I think, could be an X factor. He actually didn't play in the first matchup, so that could be big. They're a team that really likes to chase over the top of ball screens and force you into Bacho. They're kind of in the middle of the paint. They're not really going to let you get a lot of threes off, so how we counter that's going to be interesting. They also like to deny screens a lot as well, so the guard's going to have to make plays downhill and hit shooters or hit the guy rolling if he's open, but yeah, they definitely like to keep Bacho in the paint, get the guard in front of Bacho. They don't really want you to put up a lot of threes because they have Bacho down there.
And Lamar Wilkerson went off last time with 24 points. A lot of that, he was 4 of 8 from beyond 3-point range, which put him 3 of 8 from the field goal. We need Lamar Wilkerson's one of those guys you want getting to the rim a little bit more often than not. And so he put up 24 last time. And if you get him to the rim a little more, that could go up, even if he's not hitting the threes.
Right. And I think David Barnes only had 10, 12 that game.
15.
15. Okay, so he had 15. But I think the key to success for Sam Houston is Barnes or Wilkerson or both have to at least get 20 points. And then you probably need 4 or 5 other guys in that 8 to 10 range. You got a lot out of Barnes and Wilkerson last time. You're probably going to need it again. So, yeah, a big night for Lamar Wilkerson would be big for the Bearcats.
Okay, you said keys to the game. Start fast.
Yeah, Louisiana Tech is a team that's outscoring their opponents by nearly 8 points a game in the first half. So they'll jump on you early, and I mean, if they jump on you early at home in front of what should be a pretty good crowd, it's going to be hard to recover. And the reason Sam Houston has had so much success over the past month is because they have started fast. I know I mentioned earlier they're outscoring their opponents by 14 or 15 points a game in the first half of these games. So you can start fast, get the crowd out of it. They're Louisiana Tech's a better first half team than they are a second half team. I mean, that's a big key for success right there.
Then you want to match La Tech on the boards. Now, I want to clarify. We're not expecting them to just I don't care if they out rebound La Tech. What they need to do is limit the offensive boards. They got 12 of them last time, 5 of them to Bacho. You have got to keep him off those O boards. Those are possessions.
Yeah, and I think the total was 43 to 33, and I think that's what kept them in the game for the most part, and that's why they went on some runs. So I'm not expecting you to out rebound them by 10. I mean, they've got great size and they're crazy athletic, but if you can match them, I think that would be a big win. I mean, they're probably the top 2 rebounding teams in the conference, but Louisiana Tech is better. So if you can go toe to toe with them, that's a huge victory for you.
Hold them as a team. What do you say? 8 or less offensive rebounds. You like where you're at?
Yeah, probably 8 or less. And if you can keep them at about 35 rebounds, I think that's going to be about even for the game.
That depends on how well you're shooting, in my opinion, right? Because
Right.
defensive rebounds depend on if you're making or making the shots or not. Offensive rebounds for the other team, that's what you can control. So you're going to want you plus if you keep them, you limit those offensive boards, right? You take away, let's say, 4 of them from the last time, and they had 33. That makes 39. You give those 4 to Sam Houston, that's 39-37 in boards. I think you'd be pretty happy with that.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty much about even. And it was a 4-point game last time. If you get 4 more rebounds, that's 4 more points, maybe. So
4 more possessions. And if you hit 40% of your shots, you're gonna have you're gonna get more points out of that. I'm not trying to do all that math right now, Ben.
neither am I. Just here to talk ball.
There we go. Speaking of that, you got to stay out of foul trouble. That's a key, like every single game. But I think this one may be more, especially for your big guys. I think because you can't be throwing in your deep go. You don't want to go deep on your bench to try to slow down Bacho. You're on mute, Ben. So I'm just letting you know you're talking, and I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's brilliant, but none of us know what you're saying.
Now we're back here.
There we go.
The reason I put it on there is because it's been an issue. 2 of the last 3 games, Liberty, I think you had 3 guards with 2 or 3 fouls in the first half, and you got really thin at the guard spot. And then when you played Middle Tennessee the other day, Doumbia picked up 2 fouls in the first 2 minutes. Scroggins picked up 2 fouls in a couple minutes. Hoofner picked up 2 fouls, and you were really, really thin in the front court. So 2 of the last 3 games, you've run into some foul trouble, and you do not want to run into that against Louisiana Tech.
And the last key you put down was play fast.
Yeah, play fast. Louisiana Tech is 240th in the country when it comes to pace. Obviously, with a bigger team, they're not going to move as fast as a Sam Houston or a Liberty or Western Kentucky that's very guard heavy. And there's a lot of instances where Bacho and their bigs struggle to get back in transition when you really pick up the pace. I know I had a couple video clips in there where defensive rebound and it's a leak out, and the 2 bigs for Louisiana Tech just aren't able to keep up. And so if you're able to get out and move at a good pace, obviously under control, I think it could be big. And I think if you can take Bacho out of the game any way you can, whether that be transition or moving the ball different sides of the floor to where he's not, I mean, it's going to be big. So yeah, playing fast, moving fast, but obviously also under control could be a big thing.
I already know Coach Mudge is tuning in right now and writing down some notes to give his team, because Corey and Ben put out the knowledge. That's just what we do. So Ben, We're about to give Coach Mudge some knowledge here. And I'm going to ask this question. 2 of the 4 keys are fast, start fast, play fast. Sam Houston's more athletic. They can get up down the court better, wear them down a bit. If you've got a team that can dominate the inside, you're right. You want to go fast. What if Sam Houston comes out in a full court, in your face, man-to-man press that you run for at least to start it, right? To try to that gives you a chance to maybe slow them down, see how much they've prepared for that. They're not listening. Don't worry about the male texters.
Yeah, I mean, it could definitely cause some chaos, and we've seen Sam Houston kind of throw some full court press out there, kind of the 1-2-2 full court press. So they've got it to be able to throw at them. I don't think it would be a bad idea, especially early to kind of because if a road team comes in with a lot of energy and jumps on you early and takes the crowd out, I mean, that is a huge momentum swing. I mean, we've seen games where the road team is more hyped up, ready to play, and it's a big momentum swing in the game. So I wouldn't be opposed to flashing some of that, at least for the first couple minutes.
I would do it till the first media timeout at least. I would really, really try to push that pace the entire game. We want because see if you got big guys, right? There's two body blows. You got to give body blows to the big guys. Well, body blows for them is running, right? So you want Bacho running up and down that floor as much as possible. The more transition you can get, the better it will be. And fast break points last time were 19-12 Sam Houston. I would like to see fast. And by the way, points in the paint last time were 32-18 Sam Houston. That's a big number. But what I would like to see is those fast break points about 25 this time.
Yeah, and I think that would be a huge key. And I mean, I hadn't looked at that stat, but it just shows that playing fast could really be a key to taking Bacho out and exposing that defense.
And hey, the more you tire him down, the more he's got to go to the bench too, right? Or he's going to commit silly fouls that he shouldn't be doing because he's tired.
Yeah, and I mean, it hasn't been a huge factor, but he missed 2 games at kind of the middle of February. He's been back the last 3 games, and his stats have been close to what they have been, but I believe it was some sort of foot-knee injury, so I don't know if he's 100%, but yeah, if you can work him up and down the court, get those body blows, like you said, I think that could be a big factor.
And you said they struggle with teams like Liberty, and we know the key with Liberty. What hurt Sam early in their first matchup was the fact that they're more guard heavy.
Yeah.
Do you think we could see Sam and Mudge go to a 4 guard, 1 big lineup to really kind of keep that pace going like that?
Yeah, and even with Western Kentucky, who I think is the number 1 team when it comes to pace in the country, that's why they've given Louisiana Tech a lot of problems, beat them once and almost beat them the second time. But yeah, I think a 4 guard lineup, and I think you've seen Cam Hoofner has the ability to play the 5. If he's able to give you some minutes at the 5, you can roll 4 guards and him out there and really push the pace. And you can kind of have them have to counter what you do. If you throw, I mean, it's what we had to do with Liberty. I mean, they came out with all their guards and they had to adjust. And by the time we adjusted, it was too late. If we throw 4 guards out there and put Cam Hoofner as your 5, who can really move for a guy that can play the 5, I mean, they might have to counter and even take Bacho or their other big off the floor. So it's definitely something you can look at.
The key, a good team, a great team can play multiple styles. And this is a team that can play those multiple styles. I think what you have to do is attack the other team's weakness. If that's your mindset, that you want to go after what their weakness is, you're going to see a 4 guard Cam Hoofner lineup.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, I would love to see some of it. And they didn't even see Cam Hoofner the first time. And so they were at full strength last time we played. We didn't have Cam Hoofner. And obviously he's back pretty much to where he was before. So that could pose a big matchup problem that they didn't have to deal with in the first game.
We'll know a lot when we see the starting 5.
Yeah, I think you roll with the same 5 just because you know they're going to start Bacho. But maybe you could roll a Hoofner in there within a few minutes. I know Kean Scroggins is usually your first guy off the bench. Maybe if you throw in Hoofner off the bench as your first guy and kind of go small ball, that's how they can adjust to it.
Did they change it up, the starting 5 when they played Liberty?
They did actually. Yep.
Now you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it could happen. Yeah.
I'm just saying we'll know. We'll know what Mudge is, because if Mudge, look, Mudge is a smart man. Oh, and he's a great coach. And so I think if Mudge is going to go with a style, he's going to have the team bought into it. And we're going to go from the start with that, like they did with Liberty. That's why I think you could see some changes in the lineup.
Right. And I'm going back to look at La Tech's schedule again. Their 3 losses are to the 3 teams with the best guard play and the best guard depth in the league. So Western Kentucky, Liberty, and us. And obviously there's something to that. So
Yeah, there is a key component in there. All right. So it's time, Ben. It's time for the all of Sam Houston Nation, the cat fans, Cat Nation, everything scratchy and catty has been waiting on predictions, potatoes, predictions, potatoes. What you got for Thursday night, 8 o'clock, CBS Sports Network?
yeah, I'm gonna go with my Bearcats. I think it's gonna be a close game. I expect nothing less than that. I'm gonna say 77-74 Sam Houston. I think David Barnes continues his hot streak. I bet he leads the team. I'm going to go with 22 points. Yeah, and I think it's going to be a 3-point win on the road, and it'll be the first regular season title since 2018, 2019 for the Sam Houston Bearcats.
Ben, bring in the potatoes.
What about you, Corey? You got to throw some in there.
82-68 Sam Houston.
Ooh,
Do you want to know why?
why is that?
Because I believe Coach Mudge is going to throw out the small lineup that we talked about. And I believe they're going to be the ones to jump out early, take La Tech crowd away early. They're going to jump up on them by probably 15 or 20. And then from there, they're pretty evenly matched once they adjust. And then it'll just be even basketball all the way through.
Yeah, and
Each team take a few runs here or there, like normal.
yeah, I mean that's the way it's gone for Sam Houston really every game during this streak. I mean, Liberty, you jumped up by 25, they got it down to about 10, you win by 15. New Mexico State, you get it up to 30, they get it down to like 17, you win by 22. Middle Tennessee gets it down to 7, you win by 15, kind of thing. So yeah, I would love to see that again.
I am moving my house into the Comerica Center for the next 4 days. There will be 4, 8, 12, 14 basketball games over the next 4 days that I will be watching. So I will hope to remember to turn this on tomorrow night and check it. But if by some chance it finishes 82-68 with a starting lineup change, I expect everyone to know that I'm going to be insufferable on all social media channels for at least 24 hours.
I would love that because it would be a Sam Houston win, and I would take it, and I'd hope you'd buy a lottery ticket as well.
No, it's just the same reason I don't gamble. I'm going to lose.
Hey, it's not gambling if you know you're going to win.
No, I'm not lying to you. Like, the times I have, I'm like, oh yeah, North Carolina they always beat that, right? And then they go and beat Texas. I'm like, woohoo! I made all this money, and that's like the only win I get. Like I go, at that point it's like nope. So I just stopped. I stopped
I'll buy one on your half if that's the exact score.
If that's the exact score.
I'll buy one on your behalf, and if I win, you'll get half the earnings.
If that happens, I'm gonna need to contact the Lotto Commission and tell them they owe me some. Right? Like, you know how that works.
I think so. I don't know. I don't play the lottery.
What I'll do is I'll hold a Twitter poll, right, and call it an election, and then I won't agree with the results if it don't go my way. That's I don't know. Corey likes to have fun. Why not have fun?
Right. Have a good time with it.
Yeah. All 4 people would vote on the Twitter poll. I would disagree with all 4 of them.
Oh, no matter what they said.
That's right. All right, Ben, tell us what's going on with this cat fund and why people should get over there. Because that preview that was up Monday was one of the best previews I've read.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, that preview along with spring football previews. Some previews will be going up next week. We'll have coverage from probably 4 or 5 spring practices, coverage from pro day. in a couple weeks, and so all that will be on there exclusively for Cat Fund members. You can sign up by going to cat-fund.com. So yeah, a lot of good content there, and we also might have some other stuff going on, whether that be with athletes or events, meet and greets, whatever it might be. We'll let you know, but there might be some of that on the horizon as well.
And the most important part is 100% of the money you give to Cat Fund is going straight to the athletes. It's cats helping cats. We like to do that here. And speaking of cats helping cats, we want to give another shout out to the people who used to be proud sponsors of this podcast, Eternal Roofing. Uh, and I want to get into a little more. We've told you that they do general contracting, Christmas lights. We've gone through all that, right? What you really need to know is that if you've got a business, they're there for you too. They are specialists in commercial roofing. They can accommodate your HVAC, any other roof equipment, and they ensure minimal disruption to your operations during installation or repair. And again, go to eternalroofingtx.com. They have a gallery. It is refreshed periodically, I will say, and you will see the craftsmanship, the work, the quality. It is tremendous there. Do not hesitate. Give them a call for any roofing or general contracting needs you may have. You can contact the Hill Country office at area code 830-251-5673. The Montgomery office is area code 936-215-8539. You can email Taylor at eternalroofingtx.com. And Ben, I don't even know if Taylor's aware of this, but my 7-year-old says he's going to have a podcast, and it's going to be sponsored by Eternal Roofing. So there, things are going well for Taylor.
I know, man. They're branching out. They're hitting all the markets.
They're getting those
Including
first graders.
Yeah, I mean, get it in their head now for when they buy a house in 20 years.
That's right. First graders, do you need a roof?
Maybe do your parents need? I go ahead, go and ask them.
Yeah, take them this flyer.
I know you don't know what it means, but hopefully they do.
Well, he's learning to read. Like, dude, now in first grade, it's second grade, they start grading the handwriting.
It feels a little subjective.
Yeah, they're grading. It's crazy. They do that in second grade. But you know what's worse than handwriting of a first grader? The streak Tech. Baseball's been on, man. It ain't been good. It hadn't been good. St. John's, they lost 2 of 3. It's a good St. John's team, but they still lost 2 of 3. They had Houston down last night, just bottom of the ninth. The Cougars were able to come up and get that one. We saw some good things from the Cats, Ben, especially pitching. I think we have to feel good right now about the pitching. The thing I think we have to be concerned about, and I did not see this coming into the season, are the bats, the lineup. I mean, are they going to be able to get this figured out? Because it's go time now.
It is. I mean, how many games in are you now? 13 games in. It's time to get things rolling, but it's definitely been a little concerning. And I just really feel like every game you're just one hit away. I mean, there were 3 or 4 innings last night against Houston where you had 1 or 2 guys on with no outs and just nothing comes of it. And so you just got to find a way to get the big hit. I feel like there's some holes in the lineup. I know they're still toying with it. It feels like it's kind of a different lineup every day. So hopefully you can get that nailed down, but feels like you're one big hit away a lot of the time. And you're going to need a lot from some of the guys you haven't gotten a lot from so far. I mean, Malachi Lott had a great day on Sunday against St. John's, but hitting under 200. Jake Tatum is hitting right around 200. Those were 2 guys that you expected to maybe be 2 of your top 3 or 4 hitters. And so need them to kind of step up, need to get that big hit, need to figure out the lineup. But yeah, pitching's been great, but hitting has definitely been a little rough so far.
It's a consistency issue. When you look at this offense, the last 5 games, they've scored 3, 0, 12, 5, and 1. That's very, very inconsistent. And I get some of that because, like 0 against St. John's, their ace. But at the same time, should Sam Houston get shut out by anyone's ace, especially not a SEC Big 12 type guy? You know what I mean? Like that's
Right.
concerning for me.
It is. It is concerning. I mean, and it's something they've got to turn around. And like I said, I just feel like you've got to get all guys rowing in the same direction. You've got to get the big hit. I mean, there'll be some games where the top of the lineup, everybody gets a hit, nobody at the bottom of the lineup does. And it's just like you'll load the bases and you don't do anything with it. Walker Yannick has kind of been the one constant. So far, he's had a hit in every single game. Hunter Autry has been a really good guy who's come on. He's leading the team in homers. He's been really good. But outside of those two, everybody else has been really, really up and down so far this year.
Yeah, and look, the pitching did a good job against the solid Houston lineup last night. And I think we've seen quite a few of those guys really step up. Roles are starting to get defined. And to be honest with you, they have enough depth now that I think they could be dangerous when it comes tournament time. If they get this lineup set.
Yeah, I think they can. The biggest thing that concerns me right now is Marshall Wales was scratched from his start against St. John's this weekend. He was a guy in his first two starts that went 10 innings and gave up just one run and was your Saturday starter. And so he didn't pitch this weekend, didn't pitch on Tuesday, not sure of his status, which is obviously a big question mark because he was your number 2 guy. But you've got depth behind him. I mean, you've got Atkinson, you've got Helms, you've got Hewitt, you've got Cold Iron, you've got Watson. I mean, you've got 8 arms that I feel really solid about. But man, if you could add Wales in, I would feel awesome about this rotation and even better than I already do.
Yeah, and Sirianni wasn't given any clue about that.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything on that recently.
I think Colton asked him. I think I saw a video on Twitter. I think it was Colton that asked him about it, and he said that he was not going to comment on it. So, and you know what, I get it. Coaches don't like commenting on injuries, but looking ahead this weekend, it is not. This next week is just brutal. They go to Slam Marcus for 3 games against those nasty smelling Bobcats. And then they head over to Bluebell Park for some I'm not I can't say anything bad about Bluebell, Ben. I like the ice cream.
I do too. Yep.
Well, I just don't like the Aggies though.
They like their park. That's it.
It's a gorgeous park. It is a gorgeous park. But it's a look, they took down Texas the other night. They're playing really good. They haven't even lost yet. You've got the Bobcats. They've been playing pretty well. They were in a tournament last week with Houston and Vanderbilt and the University of Texas, and they won over Texas last week. So they also did lose last night. I noticed to Texas A&M Corpus Christi on Tuesday night. So there is that. These games here that they have coming up, Texas State 3, A&M, then they start conference, New Mexico State 3, Baylor, Northwestern State, and then DBU at home for 3. Then it's Rice. It's a lot of games here in a row. In their next 12 games, what record would you have that you go, okay, I still feel okay about this team?
Yeah, I think if you go 7-5, you have to feel good. I mean, considering 4 of those games are against top 20 teams in the country, another one's against a Big 12 team in Baylor, and then 3 others are against San Marcos. I mean, against Texas State and San Marcos. And so you go 7-5 in that stretch, you've got to feel really good. That means you picked up at least probably 1 win against Texas State and DBU. You probably taken care of the midweeks. You probably at least won 2 out of 3 against New Mexico State. So 7-5, you'll feel really good. 6-6, I think, is kind of the expectation, I would think. But yeah, 7-5, I would feel really good about that stretch.
Boy, I was gonna say 6-6, and now all of a sudden I don't think I'm gonna.
What are you going with?
I said 6-6.
Yeah,
and you were like, I think that's the expectation, but it is. And look, when I looked at this, you got 3 at Texas State. You hope to get out of there with 1.
Yeah.
Right. That 1. If you get 2, you're happy. Texas A&M. Let's just go on past that. You hope to go two, and you you could possibly sweep New Mexico State, but it is on the road. And they have traditionally been able to hit the ball. So if your bats aren't working,
Corey, I was gonna say, did you see the student section upgrades for New Mexico State baseball?
no, I didn't.
I'll have to send that to you. Pretty much they put a hot tub and a ping pong table and a TV kind of behind the stands for the students, and they were like student section upgraded, and they got a lot of heat for it because it was kind of ratchet, but that was funny. I'll have to send that to you.
I would go.
Hot tub. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of interesting things that happen.
Look, I ain't getting in the hot tub, right? Like, not unless I watch you clean that sucker before I get it. Just like the pool in Arizona, I'm not jumping up in that thing either, right? Like, come on now. All right, so then they have Baylor.
I just texted it to you. We can circle back to it in a minute.
All right, then we have Baylor, in Northwestern State at home, 19th and 20th. I think you split that. You'll be happy with those two. Maybe able to take one, and then DBU again, even at home. I think 1-2. If you really have something good, maybe a 2-1, and then Rice is at home, and I think they can take a team like Rice.
Right. Yeah. I mean, 6-6. I mean that would be good. 7-5. I would feel really good. So it's going to be a tough stretch after these last couple of weeks where you've had the opportunity to pick up some wins.
Dude, so this little Oasis hot tub and a couch and folding tables and folding chairs behind. Oh, dude, that is so redneck. It's great.
I know.
Like, you can't even see the baseball game from there.
It is definitely, in the comments and quotes on it are fun to read too.
That is outstanding stuff right there. I mean, go to the baseball game, pay to get in, sit on a couch or a folding chair, and don't watch the game. Let's go.
Yeah, that's how you pick up what were you talking about? Meet a girl at McDonald's and then take him to the game. I mean, meet him at the New Mexico State baseball student section, and then
you don't even have to go to McDonald's, right?
They're there.
Like, that'll impress her enough to sit in the plastic folded or the folding chairs at the folding table and in the dirty hot tub.
I just love the comment where it says student section just got upgraded. Fire emoji, explanation, exclamation.
Look, New Mexico State, we know they have a lot of problems. And now we know that their marketing department is another one.
Yeah, my favorite comment is, I envision an incident similar to the one at the Oakland Coliseum's far upper deck being replicated here.
Aggies are gonna Aggie.
Yeah.
That's just what they do.
Mario Mocha's got it cooking over
there. Yeah. What is their baseball team right now anyway? They're not good.
Well, their head coach got fired last year. And the year before, they were the last team in the tournament. I think 8 teams made it, and they won the conference tournament. I think they were like 10 games under 500 and still made it.
So they're 6-6. They split a 4-game with South Dakota State. They lost all 4 at McNeese. They won all 4 at home against Northern Colorado. They've got Prairie View coming up this weekend, and they go to Tech for 2 before they play Sam Houston.
They've had quite the cupcake before walking into this gauntlet.
Ben, let's go back over this. South Dakota State, McNeese, Northern Colorado, Prairie View, Texas Tech, Sam Houston. These boys don't know what's about to come at them, and they're only 6-6.
Yeah. Are they able to play baseball in South Dakota at this time of year?
Oh, and then they they played at home.
Well, no, I know, but just to practice. I don't know if you saw, but Dartmouth is starting the year with like a 22-game road trip.
Yeah, a lot of those teams do, and if they do practice, it's indoors or somewhere while they're on the road. And then after they play Sam Houston, they play at New Mexico, and then 3 at Nebraska before they go to Arizona for 1 and 3 at DBU.
They get 2 wins. I mean, I think they'll be feeling pretty good.
Okay, So let's break down there. We're not even the New Mexico State podcast, and I would feel empathy for him if I had any. So 2 at Texas Tech, 3 at home against Sam Houston, and everything else is on the road. New Mexico for 1, Nebraska 3, Arizona 1, DBU for 3.
Oh.
Oh,
And then you got Liberty, and Liberty's good too.
Yeah, you come home for Liberty and then New Mexico then back into conference. You've got Tarleton in there. Another one with Arizona. Arizona's coming to Las Cruces, by the way, so that's interesting. Later on the year, they play at TCU.
Ooh.
That's TCU's warm up, I'm guessing, for the Big 12 tournament, is what they consider.
Probably, yeah.
Oh my goodness! All right, well, I feel pretty good about the New Mexico State series, Ben.
I do too, and
I don't feel good about this week.
It's a series you probably need to sweep. And goodness, look, did you see some of these scores against Northern Colorado? 19-11, 22-12, 14-4, 11-6.
You know, that's whack baseball, right? Like
Oh.
whack baseball. That's just what they do, right? Yeah. Okay. So 3 at Texas State and then at Texas A&M. If they have just 1 win this week, are you okay with that, or do you need 2 wins out of it? Split.
You have to have 1. I wouldn't feel great if you have 1. I would feel good if you got 2. I mean, if you didn't get any, I'd be very concerned. If you got 1, it would be kind of meh. 2, you'd feel good, and anything above that, you're feeling really good.
Oh, by the way, Coach Mudge is a goat. Had a fat head of Coach Mudge.
Yes, I saw that.
I'm gonna need that as part of my house decor.
And Kian Scroggins got asked if he knew about the Kian Scroggins biggest fan account, and he does. So that was fun too. They've got
That's great.
some fun Twitter accounts.
Does Coach Mudge know that he's the goat?
I hope so. He is. He's done one heck of a job.
He has done well. Ben, we made it through this, and I don't think I doubt that I get a call being fired tomorrow. So I think we're good.
We survived to live another day.
It was a close one. It always is.
We did it.
Well, we want to say thank you to Ben for joining us and imparting all his knowledge. And again, check out that stuff at Cat Fund. It's outstanding. And we want to give a big, giant thank you to everyone who is listening and watching on the YouTube page. Without you, we're not here talking about this. So we appreciate you, and we hope that you appreciate the banter, even though sometimes silly, that you receive from us. And until next time, Ben, take us out.
Eat 'em up, Cats, and let's go win a conference title.
Let's be greedy.